Hello National 5. This week we're going to be looking at CSS and how it can be used to add style to our web pages. So far we've looked at HTML and we've covered all the HTML content that we need to know for National 5. So this week it's CSS, and by the end of this week you will develop a knowledge and understanding of what CSS is. You'll be able to describe the link between HTML and CSS. And what we're looking for you to be able to do is explain the purpose of CSS, identify and describe different CSS rules, and implement a range of CSS rules. So the way we can think of CSS is CSS adds style to page. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. Okay? And while the HTML tells the browser what the browser is to display, the CSS tells the browser how it should look. So if you think about HTML and CSS in a human context, the HTML is the body, it's the skeleton, it's the base frame, okay? And then we add style to that by wearing clothes. So the clothes is the CSS. So HTML, the basic skeleton, is CSS, the style. And that means we can apply different CSS to the same HTML, just like you can wear different clothes on different days. So let's have a look at a couple of examples. So here we've got a basic page. We've got it laid out with our HTML tag, our head tag, and our body tag. You will notice that the CSS goes here. This is CSS inside style tags. And for the moment, this is an example of internal CSS. It is within our HTML document. So here we've got CSS applied to the body, which is the whole page, heading 1, which is this heading here, and then the paragraph, which is these two paragraphs here. And if you have a quick look at how the CSS works, well, here we've got a background color linen, so that's kind of that light yellow color. We've got H1, and if we look at H1, is it maroon? Yep. Is it in the middle? Looks like it. And is its font family Tahoma? That is Tahoma. Okay. Paragraph, definitely blue, probably is also size 16 as it states. And we can apply different CSS. So this is the same text, but different CSS. And the body is now black. H1 is now yellow. It's aligned to the right, and it's cursive, which in this case means it's Comic Sans. Okay, and then the paragraphs, yellow backgrounds, italic, slightly bigger in font. Okay, so it's the same page, but we're using different CSS to style it. So let's have a look at how a CSS rule is formed. Okay, so CSS, as I said, it goes inside a style tag, inside the head tag, and I've got a practical example to show you in a second. But CSS is normally applied to an HTML selector. And at the moment, the only selectors that we know about are HTML tags. Okay, so this HTML tag here is H1, but we can apply it to body, as we've seen earlier, paragraph, H6, images, videos, any tag we use, we can apply CSS to it. Within the curly brackets, we have a declaration block, and a declaration block is made up of multiple declarations. An individual declaration is made up of a property and a value. Okay, so the property here is what I'm changing, and the value is what I'm changing it to. Okay, a property and value is separated by a semicolon, and then a declarations are separated. Sorry, a property and a value is separated by a colon. Each declaration is separated by a semicolon. Okay. Again, with CSS, the syntax is important. HTML is slightly forgiven if you don't get the syntax right. CSS not so. So if you miss a semicolon or a colon, there is the possibility that certain parts of your page will not work. So let's have a look at the different things we can use CSS to do at National 5. So we can use CSS to change the background color, to change the color. So that's the actual color of the object. So in this case, we've added color to a paragraph. So that's going to change the color of that paragraph. We can change color either by using the color name, so the background color I've set to red, or we can use its hex code. So every color has a hex code to store it. So in this case, FFFFF000 is yellow. Font family, that means we can change the font size, we can change the size. I normally use PT to set the font size because that's the method of measuring fonts that we use in Word and PowerPoint. And we can also change the text align, so whether it's left, right, or centered. Now, those of you that are paying close attention to this will notice color is spelt the American way, as is center. Okay, so CSS was developed by Americans, so therefore we follow their spellings. So just watch as you're getting to grips with CSS that you're using the correct American spellings of color and center. The other CSS tag we can use, value we can change is the width and the height. So this would normally be applied to an image, a video, and an audio tag. And again, we set the value what we want, and then we set the property so we set the property and then the value that we want to change it to. So here we have an example of a website. Okay, so down the left hand side of your screen we have got the HTML, and on the right we have got the preview of it. And this piece of software I'm using is called Brackets. It's free to download, and it's just a lot easier for me to use in this situation to demo than Repel it, but it works the exact same way as Repel it. Our website is about the USS Enterprise. I am a bit of a Star Trek geek, so we've got a heading, we've got an image, a paragraph, a heading, an image, a bulleted list, a heading, and a paragraph. So we're going to add some style to this because it doesn't look particularly good as it at the moment. So I'm going to go over to this side of the screen, and let's make that font a wee bit bigger so we can see it. So I'm going inside the head, so there's the start of my head, and there's the end of my head. So I'm inside my head, and I'm going to add a style tag. Now it's really important that you have a close style tag afterwards, because if I save that, if I take that style tag out and save it, you'll notice that all my content disappears. So it's really important that we have a closed style tag. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the background color of the page. So at the moment it's white. I'm not a great fan of white. We're going to change it. So the tag we're going to use is body. We put curly brackets in, and I'm going to put enter. And I'm just entering just so it's easy for me as a human to read. So we're going to go background color equals, so colon equals, let's go for light blue, semicolon. Save it, and in Repel it we get a live preview there. Okay, so we've now got a nice light blue background. Let's move on to this heading. Okay, so this heading, it is H1, because if we look at the code here, USS Enterprise H1, so that's how I know it's an H1. Curly brackets, let's make the color of it dark blue, just so it contrasts. Okay. I'm not a great fan of this plain font, so let's make it a different font. So font family, Tahoma, semicolon, save. Brilliant. Okay, let's move down now to the second heading. So this H2, which is for the crew and the mission further down. So let's see what we're going to do to it. I think we might have a background color. Of a background color, and I think we might go for that dark blue again. I save it. Okay, so I've made it dark blue, but I now can't read the font. Okay, so let's add color. Let's go for yellow because that's a good contrast in color. Good. Still not a great fan of the font, so let's go for font family Verdana. Okay, and if you wonder why I know these fonts, these are just fonts I know. Most instructions you'll get will tell you what fonts you need to use. And I tell you what, because it's a subheading, let's put it in the middle of the page. So let's go text, align, center. It's now in the center. And actually, because it is a subheading, let's make it a wee bit bigger as well. I don't like the default size, so let's go for 20 pt. Save, and there, do you see how it changed ever so slightly? So that's looking better. I tell you what, I can maybe put my H1 in the center of the page as well. Okay, so that's in the center. Let's quickly do the paragraph, and then I think we're nearly done. So paragraph tag, and let's just change the font family to Arial and save. Now you'll see this paragraph here is now Arial, and this paragraph down the bottom by my camera is now Arial, but this here's not Arial. Wonder why that is. Well, if we look at that code there, that's not inside a paragraph tag, it's inside a UL tag. So what we actually need to do is copy this, stick it in, and change it to UL, and that will also change. In fact, what I can do is you can list tags. This is something you learn at higher. I can list and go, well, I want the paragraph and I want UL to be Arial. Let's make the font size a wee bit bigger. Let's go for 4PT, remember my semicolon, Control S. So there we have the style of the page. Images are very big. Let's get the images down inside. So I want all my images to be the same size. So we're going to apply it to the image tag because this is an image and this is an image. So let's go image and let's go width 300 pixels. Okay, there we go. There is my finished page about the USS Enterprise. And that was an introduction to CSS at National 5 Computing Science.